I want to show you guys a little shading tutorial. This is just some random kid from one of my daughter's toys. Some tools you're going to need is a pencil, an eraser, and a pencil sharpener. Let's talk about pencils really quick. This pencil is an HB pencil. That means it's a regular pencil that you would use in school. Any pencil that just has an H means it's a very light pencil. It has really hard lead, and that makes the color of the graphite very light. The higher the number, like if it's a 2H or a 4H or a 6H, the lighter the pencil. If the pencil is only a B, like a 2B, a 4B, a 6B, the higher the number, the darker the pencil. So B is very soft lead. HB means it's right in the middle, so it's just a basic pencil color. So if I want something very, very dark, I want to go with a B for those dark darks in my picture. Now, let's pretend that I gridded her and I was ready to shade. Depending on your preference, I don't like to go too dark right away because you can't fix that. And I usually kind of just start with the medium tones. So nothing on her is black and white. I have to kind of find where the darkness or the shadows are. So in the hair, on the forehead, up here in the eye, the cheek, inside the mouth is very dark, next to the face is very dark, and the skin is very light. Notice nothing in this picture, even her teeth, is the color of this white paper. Even her eyes have shadow on them. So a lot of the times when people are shading, they have a lot of white. Really, there should be just a few little specks of white. Maybe this little shiny spot here, maybe the shine on her mouth right there, maybe a few spots in the hair, and that's it. Everything else would have shading. So, right there. Okay, so I've just kind of sketched out just the face shape here. And when you are shading, you never want to shade like that with a big scribble, because then if I were to try to blend that, if it was skin or something smooth like an apple, I would still see a big scribble. So you want to make sure that your pencil strokes are light and very close together. And if you're wondering what this is a blending stump. You can also make your own with just a piece of rolled up, keep it still, with just a piece of rolled up paper or paper towel, but you really don't want to use your finger because your finger will just smudge and make it look really messy, and there'll be like finger spots everywhere. So this is just it's a blending tortillon or a blending stump. So you don't want to shade in big scribbles. You want to shade very light and smooth and close together. So for instance, if I'm shading in this eye area, notice my pencil lines are close together. And try to go with the direction of the face. If you notice something is curved, try to curve your pencil. Now, I don't want to blend any areas that have a hard edge. For instance, the eye, I don't want to smear that. If I smear something that has an outline, like right here, I lose that edge. I want to have a nice crisp edge. This is an eraser that I borrowed from my wonderful daughter. So I don't want to smudge anything that has a hard outline, like the edges of the nose, stuff like that. The only areas that I would smudge would be the skin. So you want to keep those pencil lines close together and light. I do kind of a hatching style. That's just my personal preference. Other people do different kinds of shading styles, small circles, whatever you're doing, just keep those pencil lines close together. Do not do that big scribble thing I just showed you a second ago. So now if I want to darken things up and I have darker pencils, I could switch over to a B. I'm just going to press harder with the pencil that I have. Now notice the eye is all colored in except for that one spot. It's very dark in the corner right here. It's very dark in the corner right here. What'll make your drawing look really, really good is not being scared to go very, very dark. I would almost rather you guys go too dark than too light. And if you're doing hair, you don't want to blend hair. You don't want to blend hair or smudge hair. You want to see those pencil strokes. So eyebrows, hair, you want to see that texture. So if I were to smear this, it wouldn't look like lines anymore. It would look like just a big blurry gray area. Now, if I have highlights in the hair where the light is hitting it, so if I have really, really bright areas in the hair, I could take my pencil eraser, try to hold it steady over you.
Can I sit down with you?
Sure. So I could erase areas to make highlights, to make it lighter. And then I could gently, so I don't have a big erase spot, blend back over with a couple of pencil strokes. So that gives me a lighter area, but I still have that nice texture. So you don't want to blend things like hair if you're drawing people, or anything with like hard edges or texture. If it's grass, I wouldn't want to smear grass around. I'd want to see those grass-like strokes. Now, sorry, I'll hold it, honey, thank you. Now, if I don't want to see these pencil strokes all over her face, why is it all blurry? I can use my blending tool. Now, when you blend stuff, it's gonna make it lighter. So you have to be careful. If you're going for something really, really dark and you end up blending it, it might get too dark, too light. It'll lose its value. And I can use the little bit of pencil that's on my blending tool to kind of spread it around in other places I may not have shaded yet. So this gets rid of those pencil strokes. It makes it look much smoother, depending on what I'm going for. But I don't want to blend any hard edges, or else it'll just be a blurry mess. Now I can blend some of the hair, like areas that are pretty solid looking, like over here. If you look at the picture, it's very, very solid, so I can blend that. Then I can use that pencil in other places that's on my tool. Now I don't have to use a blending tool. I can just use a piece of paper or something else. Just be careful with your hand getting all smeary everywhere. Now I'm just gonna use some of this pencil over here, and I'm just gonna kind of spread it around. Then what I like to do is, after I'm done shading, so let's pretend this is all done, I want to go back over it and look for any areas that are really dark that I need to darken back up, that may have been smudged too much and they lost their value, their dark or their lightness. So I can go back in and I can darken up those areas I may have lost earlier. So any little lines may have come out. So that's just a quick little shading tutorial for you. And you can blend some of the hair. You just don't want to lose those textures. I highly, highly recommend using a blending tool. It's much easier, but obviously, I mean, I didn't own any of these until I was like 30 years old. So I expect most of you don't have these tools, but nowadays they do sell them at like Michael's or any art store if you happen to like drawing on your own outside of school. I would definitely get one of these if you enjoy drawing. It's very helpful. And they're really cheap. They're like 10 cents. So if you have any questions, let me know. Try to start with your middle values. And then if you have any light areas, maybe you went too dark, then just erase them off. So if you went too dark in some spots, just lighten it up with the eraser. Oop, where was my tool? Good luck.